The thing I like the most about this bike is the engine, and that's what we're going to talk about now. Time to step it up a notch. Oh yeah. And today we're going to talk specifically about and only about the carburetor synchronization. When you arrive, you finish your run, you have to unscrew this to release the tension on the hoses, because if you leave them pressed, then the screws cut through the hoses, and then you have to replace them more often. And I will show you how to replace them. You have to use a heat gun and insert a new part. Here I've done that on this bit. And so Maritzburg, that's where the castle I showed you last time is. Maritzburg Castle in Maritzburg. We're going to head that way because it's a nice stretch of road, and I can explain to you what's the business about this this crazy clocks and or gauges. When I bought this bike was a mess in terms of carburetors. It was a complete mess. This is why I believe this is why the guy that sold it to me sold it, because it was really, really tiring. You could not cruise on it because it was a constant, you know, not as bad as that, but you couldn't reach a certain engine speed and just stay there. It would cough and puff, and you know, there was no constant flow of air and fuel to organize those elements to the carburetor, which aren't exactly easy. In fact, they are impossible to do if you don't know what you're doing. If you do know what you're doing, then they still require a little try and error. But having said that, they are manageable. You can do it. You can get through the steps, fill in the gaps, and get some results that stick, like Bob Proctor says. Results that stick.
And you will come up with results that stick.
So this time we're going to turn left here because this is where the big runs are, and we're green. Anyway, we'll stop somewhere. But we can begin to see now that at this moment in time, as we accelerate, all of the gauges, notice that these gauges here, they're pointing outwards, but they are in sync. These gauges here are pointing outward, but they are in sync with the numbers. So we're going to be objective in our readings, okay? We're going to look at the clocks and we're going to search for the numbers, not the positions and the needles. So the position in the needle only relatively to the numbers, and we are excellent. We accelerate more and we're still there. Now, okay, so you probably are able to hear me again. We've got ice everywhere. We're going to do a short run today. This is, but let's verbally explain what we first visually learned. So when you accelerate, the way I see it, once again, okay? So just bear with me, okay? If you know about these, please write your comment. If I need to be told of something, please just tell me. So here it goes. When you accelerate, the carburetor goes, blows air, okay? And when you deaccelerate, it goes, you know, it breathes, okay? There's two ways of it. So that is the reason why you cannot set your carbs outside of the road or in a dyno machine. The dyno will hook up the bike, put some weight, some resistance at the rear wheel, and they'll calculate that for the rider's weight and the bike's weight. And then as you accelerate and you go through the gears, you generate momentum on the rear wheel. Have you seen it? If you haven't seen it, check it out. Just put dyno run online and check what's happening. You see the bike strapped on to a machine, and the rear wheel is hooked up onto a big roller that has whatever weight it needs to have. You know, the machine graduates that, regulates that. So effectively, when I do this, the machine is resisting, and when I do that, the machine also resists. You know, because it has that inertia that simulates the inertia of myself and the bike rolling forward as the floor is starting to stop us. So if we go into first gear and I do this, I could never possibly do this in a garage. It's just impossible. You don't simulate that for real, that breathe, you know. And also the accelerating point is impossible to simulate it also, because I'm having no resistance. The only resistance I have at that moment is the engine's flywheel, which is just compensating the weight of the pistons and the crankshaft. There's not a lot of weight there, you know. In fact, it should be very balanced. So this is the reason, guys. Don't think I'm just you know, there's a lot of guys, a lot of people out there that have seen my bike and they go, oh, you're just playing, oh, and I try to explain to them, the point being, in terms of synchronizing your carbs, the reason why I keep it on is because also carburetors are temperamental. Some days you find yourself with a certain feel on the gas. Some days you find yourself another feel on the gas, and then what happens is that I come and think, oh no, I need to reset the carbs again, or I need to adjust the carbs again. And then I set up the machine, I take a fairing oil, I set up the machine, I head off, and I see maybe a little tiny bit of disadjustment, disalignment, and I think, you know what, for that much, it's just not worth it. Decided to just keep them hooked up, right, and see if it's just me that I'm, you know, subjectively affected by some, you know, what I'm thinking that is happening when it's not actually happening, or does the carburetors actually need setting up. And at the moment they don't seem like they need setting up, but that doesn't matter. I will still show you how they can be set up. When the bike is on idle, you need more fuel to get more heat, okay? So you can blow more, so the explosion is bigger and you get more heat. For the cold, for instance, that's why you put the choke, so it gets more fuel. However, when you are running, if you have more heat, more air, at that moment the explosion is hotter, where it acts as a oxyacetylene soldier, you know, where you put more oxygen to burn the flame hotter. So that's important to know as well. So more air obviously gives you more fuel pressure, but it gives you more heat. So those two front cylinders, I like to run them with more heat, with more air. So all of these setups makes the engine a little bit temperamental for starting. In a Pro style, it's a little bit, you know, it asks you to do this and that so that you can start the engine, because in the idle you have these more air in the front than in the back, and it's, you know, but when running works well for me because it distributes the temperature equally much better. So I'm going to turn around here and I'm going to head up to the house because I think that summarizes the oil technique. And then what you do, ideally, I like to have a torquey engine. So I'll tell you more about that when we get to the stretch. But for now, I'm going to enjoy this little ride with you guys. Let's go. I've got traffic in the front.
Right, so you made it this far, very good. Thanks so much for watching. The next part, still a little stretch to go comparatively. I'll explain to you how you can optimize the carburetor setup for the rev range that you mostly ride on. And then don't forget to subscribe right here where my thumb is, I think. Click there and give me a thumbs up even if you didn't like the video. Good luck and take care. Bye bye.